Hello and welcome to another breakdown video on how I made my second single. This one's called My Name. It's very different to my first single. Lots of different production techniques in this one. Basically, this track started again as a nice guitar loop, which I'll play for you. So these chords were the basis of the entire track. They're pretty relaxed. Above that, I then added this. There's actually, I believe there was two different riffs that came on top of that, which sounded like this. They were quite heavily compressed to give them a very sort of smooth and thick feel. So altogether it comes out like this. No plectrum involved in any of that. It's just strummed like this. Would help if I actually tuned my guitar first, but I guess that's a lesson for next time. If I play the entire thing in the intro, you might be able to hear there's rain on a roof sounds. Small tiny bit of reverberated vocals in there underneath a piano. It's nice and twinkly. As far as production goes, there's not actually much going on in the beginning, just the basic instrumental parts. Now when the main beat comes in, this is where there's a bit more production, so I'll just play you leading up into that. Now here, the coolest part is probably these little... They're tiny little, just really light backing vocals. Basically what I do is I put them through a pitch correction, which is usually, well, it is used for, well, what it says on the tin. It's auto-tuned, but basically, if you use it in a certain way, it can make your vocals quite synth-like. And mainly, the issue, when you're doing all your songs by yourself, if you're the backing vocalist for yourself, it can get quite confusing which is actually the main vocal, because they're all you, or all me in this case. Using my top voice and quite breathy, plus the tuner on top of it, makes it sound a bit different and makes it stand out more. And basically, my favourite aspect, again, of this track is rhythm, and the beat in it is really interesting. Basically, it's quite... that little dragged bit at the end of each loop, a little boom boom boom, that actually makes the loop more interesting, because often the time when because this track is very very much based on loops, I think that bit of clever drum work there really sort of makes the loops interesting, because it's like a little stop but almost isn't at the same time. When it comes into the first chorus, basically what I do on that is there's settings in the Space Designer, if you can see here. The Space Designer is a reverb. Basically, you can make any recording sound like they're from all of these different places, so mini cassette, mini micro cardboard box, headphone bleed, game console, all of these things, and sort of make it sound, it's basically lo-fi, but that's the best way to describe it. It's driving you wild. So it gives it a sort of that almost megaphone sound where it's like going through a tube. It's hard to describe really, you have to listen to it, but it just adds a new sonic element or quality to the verse, and it's different, sounds different than the chorus. And also there's this clever little bit. its own, it's like, what the fuck is that? But with the mix, basically, again, that's the really fast response pitch correction, which makes it sound like a synth. Now, I imagine if I turned all this off and just played you that, it would sound disgusting. I'm going to give that a go purely because I'm feeling adventurous. Oh dear, that was loud. One sec. Proper disgusting auto-tune, but with everything else, it gives it that synth effect. That is again going through a filter, and then there's a tremolo which gives it that panning quality. A bit of EQ hit, which makes that's basically just to make it sound more lo-fi. Again, does a sort of similar job to what the Space Designer does with the radio settings. But that underneath the rest of the instruments, if I start building it up one by one, so the guitar, with that vocal. You know, it almost sounds like a synth. It doesn't sound like a vocal at all. There's another thing here. You know, again, these things sound so rubbish by themselves. Listen to this. You know, it's so weird, but then on top of anything else, there is a small bit of tube echo going on down here. You can just hear that. Adds to the ambience of the entire track. And if you're wondering what that crackling noise is, no, it's not your speakers. It is basically, in fact, I'll get onto that at the end. That's more about the mastering chain. But once we go into the second chorus, there's more elements. The main new elements in this are, it's the same muffled vocal, but there's more atmospheric vocals come in here. So literally, I mean, that was just me pissing around, and that's the beauty of this track, because it is literally just me pissing about and making weird sounds, and then afterwards gluing them together with, you know, a bit of arrangement. This patch has a beloved, lovely reverb, which is Valhalla Shimmer, which is a great, really, I mean, you can make anything sound amazing through it, but you can very easily just add it to everything, and it just becomes a wash of ambience. But Step Effects is another Logic plugin, which actually came out with the latest update, I believe, and it's great. I don't really use it for a lot, but it just adds a lot of, you know, movement to what is usually, well, anything really. There's some nice piano which comes in here, I believe. Again, twinkly. I think this is where the some proper, well, I don't really listen to a lot of trap music, but trap hats come in. I can just imagine some mumble rap over this. Not that I would actually want it, but oh well. And you might notice that the kick is actually out of time in places, and that's basically because, you know, quantizing, if you don't know what that is, basically it is a function within Logic where I can play in, or even with audio, I can play in whatever, and then click the quantize button, it will move everything to exactly in time where it should be, and that can often result in everything sounding way too robotic, so I wanted to keep this a bit more, you know, back to basics. In the last build, this is where it gets quite interesting. If you listen to these. very spacey and atmospheric stuff, and that was all created with different rates of tremolo. If everything's the same rate, it's all going to the left and right at the same time. But if you sort of change the rates and intensities, you can end up having a nice wash of movement that go. I'm doing all this because really the stereo field, you can look at it as like you're, as if you're looking at it. But I'll just play you these to start with. This is reverse piano. Just an atmospheric build. That's with just different synths. Kickstart, this is a plugin which I use quite a bit. It's basically just a cheat way of doing a sidechain. It basically gives you a pumping effect, if you can hear that. That's my favourite bit. Throughout the rest, I'm pretty sure the last chorus does have some. I think there was a pitch shifted. Yeah, here we are. Basically what that is basically, if I take that off, Logic has a new transpose. I don't know how new it is now, but I didn't have it before. Basically that's just the original chords. And if I start transposing it, let's go up 2. Or let's go to what it is an octave. Whoops. 12. It adds a completely new. The outro is the actual first point where the chords change. Sometimes you could say my name. Sometimes you could say my name. So all of my ideas are recorded onto voice memos on my iPhone, and the microphones in these things are ridiculously good, like very, very, very good. And people don't realise it. I recorded vocals. My phone was over in the corner of my room, and I was on the other side, and basically recorded the vocals. So you get the idea of the room. If I solo it. So don't you go say my name. Oh. Really just a weird recording of it. So don't you go say my name. Oh. And that gives it, if you listen to it closely, you can hear that it sounds more like it's in a room just at the end. And I think that was an interesting addition to it, really, because everything else is mic'd like directly up like that, and that's the end. Now, last but not least, I'll quickly show you basically what I add to the entire mastering chain. This is a plugin called the RC20 Retro Color, and basically what this does is pretty much just, you hear that? That's the noise wobble. Not that it's good at that amount, but that is the power that it has. You're crazy, I'm gone. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'm going to be doing this for, I think, most songs that I put out, because it's just a nice way for me to show you how they're made, really, and gives you a bit more of like a behind the scenes look at it. So I shall see you for the next one.